Okay everybody, back with another video here. I was given these boards from a fellow collector, Space Invader boards. Looks like, just going to inspect them here real quick. Got some connector replacements. All the chips look to be there. This is a soundboard, I assume off of a normal Space Invaders. Caps, recapped a couple of the electrolytics. And I don't really see anything standing out, so that's the soundboard. What else we got in here? Space Invaders braze kit. Another soundboard. I'm just looking. I don't know what's on camera or not, by the way, because I'm kind of zoomed up. Let's see here. I'm just looking at this chip right here. I might need to clean up some of these chips a little bit. That doesn't look too bad or anything. And I don't see any previous work done on it. This LM3900 doesn't look great right there. Maybe that was replaced and some old solder or flux is on there. Put that to the side. Obviously the CPU socket was replaced on this. Just looks like a regular motherboard. Alright, and these sockets were replaced as well down here. Interesting. Header was reflowed. The connector, I mean. Alright, so it looks like some basic work was done. This one's a Space Invaders Deluxe, so I need to go do some research and then hook these up and come back. Alright, so I started looking at these boards, and I'm just going to look at the daughter boards first, right here. And it's pretty interesting. This board right here is an A082907700A00. And it says right here, hopefully you can see it on camera, Deluxe Cocktail Space Upright number 2. And this means that this is probably the first daughter board made for Space Invaders Deluxe. And it has this connector here, which I believe is for player 2, so it can work in a cocktail or an upright game. They also made a Space Invaders 2 game, which is not Deluxe, which is a 2-player cocktail game. But that requires some additional chips over in this area of the board here. So this Deluxe audio board or daughter board can be used on a regular Space Invaders motherboard, and it can play regular Space Invaders, or it can play Space Invaders Deluxe. But it's missing some chips here, and it doesn't have some other logic. So my expectation, this cannot play Space Invaders 2, which is the 2-player cocktail game. So anyway, I found that pretty interesting. So we're going to test that. And then here, this board here is an A080907000C739, which is kind of interesting. This is a upright only board. Does not does not have the additional connectors here. It's also missing one of the tip chips which might have to do with audio. So you see how this other one has two of these tip 31s, or I don't know, 120 somethings, I don't know what they are, 110s. This board only has one of them, but it has all these extra chips over here in row 4. So it's very interesting. And this one here, maybe this is a custom chip or something in this area, and then they replaced it with regular TTL in this one, because that chip right there at, what is that, D5 is different. So there's a few revs of these boards, but I expect them to be behaving the same way, but maybe this custom replaces all of this extra TTL that they probably went to, I guess, in the later revision to the board. So this is revision A, this is revision C, but it cannot play Space Invaders 2 because it does not have a cocktail. This thing can only be used in an upright game, is my understanding anyway. So that's pretty interesting. I didn't know there was this many differences. But what I'm going to do is I have my harness, and I am going to probably use this motherboard to begin with, which is just a regular Space Invaders motherboard, and then try to figure out which of these audio boards or daughter boards are working. Alright, so I have everything hooked up, and I don't know about the power on reset, but have the 8080 in, powered up. That's what we get there. Now, I don't know. I might have to put this on a... It does seem like it's trying to boot with the Braze kit, but something's not right. Yeah. So I could try figuring other things out, but I've never used my 8080 Fluke pod, so I'm going to hook up my 8080 and see if I can read some memory and do it that way. Alright, if you can see that, there you go. Basically, can you see that? Damn glare. So I'm doing a ROM test. I put the ROMs back in the board, and I'm reading H, which is hex address 0 to 7FF, and my signature is supposed to be E04E. I just Googled Fluke Space Invaders signatures or something, and I found a site, I think, on maybe Mike's Arcade. I'm not sure where I got it. Quarter Arcade, I think. Yeah. So let's go ahead. But if I do a bus test, obviously that's what I did first. It looks okay. If I do a RAM short from 2000 to 3FF, I get an error, BTS error CS at C5. And if I loop on that, it's not clearing or anything. So obviously there is a problem going to whatever RAM chip address C5 is. But I'm going to stop that, and I'm going to go ahead and write down the rest of the ROMs and verify the ROMs since I already have it in here, and I'll come back and start looking at the RAM. Okay, so the good news is all of the ROMs verified correctly. That's a C right there, C5AF. So all the ROMs, I could read and write to the ROMs. I haven't even looked at the schematic, so I got to figure out what's between the CPU and these RAM chips, and which, figure out which are the enables and stuff like that, and start looking at it on a scope while I'm reading at it. That's what I got to do. Alright, I'm just running the unit under test, and what I did is I pulled out ROM H. I'm following the directions of troubleshooting Midway 8080 boards. You take out the first ROM, and it should display 16 lines on the screen. And I don't know why it's changing, but there's definitely some sparkling going on multiple lines. And so then what you're supposed to do, I think, is like ground out one. You're supposed to start grounding out some of these chips and seeing if it makes the sparkly parts of that line go away. But it looks like we have multiple bad ROMs in here. So let me play with that a little bit and read some more. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that or not. There's definitely like some sparkling up in here. Alright, be back in a bit. Okay, I decided not to do that. I don't know why. I'm jumping all around. I'm trying to figure out which is the best way to approach this. But I ran my RAM short again, and instead of hitting loop, I'm just hitting continue, and it's going to different addresses, but then it's telling me what data bits are jacked up, I believe, like BA, and then if I hit continue, C5, and then it's BA on 2009 and C5 on 2000A, then BA, C5, BA, C5, BA, C5. So anyway, I need to go figure out what bits those are. They're in pairs, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so each one has one data bit. So there's got to be, I think, either 2 pairs of ROMs or 1 pair, BA and C5. I don't know. I have to think about it. But I think I'm on to something consistent there. All right. It's the next day, and I've been kind of just looking at it a little bit because I want to not pull chips if I don't have to. And I'm running my RAM short. I put the Fluke back on. I can tell that there's RAM issues because of the test screen as well. I think I showed that. I don't remember. But if I hit continue, to address 2009, we got BTS error BA, and then the next address, which would be 2000A instead of 10, is C5, and then B is BA, and then C is C5, and it's like it's going back and forth. And I think that's how these RAMs work. Like, you know, part of the address is over here and the other address is on this side, and so it's going back and forth. And you know, this is each one has data, one line for data in and one line for data out. So it's data in on pin 6 and data out on pin 7. And so you have, you know, this pair works together, this pair works together, this pair, this pair, this pair, this pair, this pair, and this is bit 7 and this is bit 0. And I think I showed you already. Didn't I show that? Yeah, where the heck did I put that at? I'm repeating myself, but anyway, I think it's the bit 7. So I think it's an issue with either of these 2 RAM chips, but since both of them are bad, I'm thinking that might not be the problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm going to loop that right there. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's, I know it's kind of hard to see, but that's the input, which looks fine. I mean, it's going from 0 to 5 volts. And then that's the output. And you see how it doesn't, at least on my scope, doesn't look like it's coming all the way down to 0 volts. So it might not be registering, even though it looks like there's activity, it might not be going below the correct threshold to register a binary 0. Now I'm checking the other chip here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The data coming in kind of looks pretty good. And then out looks terrible. And if I go to another chip, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the data output there, and you can see it goes all the way down to 0 volts. So I'm not adjusting my trigger and zooming in with my seconds per division. I'm just looking at the signal there. But those 2 data outputs share like a 7404, I think, at E5. Where's E5 at? But it's a 7404, and I'm going to get my logic comparator on it. Right, I'm getting some interesting results here with my logic comparator. I came to E4, which is right here, and my comparator looks good. You don't see anything wrong there. And I don't know if I'm looking at the right schematic, but I came to D4, which is also a 74LS04, and you can see we got issues. And that also is supposed to be, it's these two 7404s that are supposed to be for the data output lines. So let me look that up, and I want to trace these out. I want to see where those pins actually. All right, here's my C5 and BA again, and I guess I figured because this was the bit that's 0, I don't know. I don't know how to interpret that correctly, I guess. Maybe it's because these lower bits. Why? I don't even know how to articulate what I'm looking for. I would assume this pattern here would indicate to me like which bits were wrong, but it's not really. Or is it? I don't know. I have to think about that, or maybe have somebody smarter explain it to me. Regardless, I guess I got lucky because I'm pretty sure this is the problem. If I come to D4, which is that inverter, this is the input coming from the RAM chip on pin 13 right there, and the output is pin 12 right there, and that's not what it should look like. And that is for these lower RAM chips down here. And if I come to E4 pin 13, you see that that's the input. Oh, I don't get anything on the output. What? Oh. That makes sense, actually. Is this bad as well? But it's reading correctly because... Oh my god. I might have multiple things going on here. I don't know. Okay, so this is pin 13 coming from these RAM right here. Okay, and you get to look at the signal, and I think that this signal's bad, right? But then you look at the output, and the inverter is working correctly because it's reading low because it's inverting what it interprets as only a high signal. So I think we have these two RAM chips are potentially bad, as well as this other chip is bad too, D4, because that's the input, and the output should look somewhat similar. I mean, that doesn't look even close. Interesting. Alright, I'm going to replace this RAM here, because I think that is bad. I mean, the comparator showed that it was bad. It looks like it's bad. And I'm also going to replace or socket these two RAM chips up here. So maybe my theory about this bit here being the same, and that's bit 7, or the 8th data bit. Anyway, I know I'm not making a lot of sense, but I think I'm onto something. We'll see. Alright, I pulled D4, and it tested fine in my B&K 864, my TTL tester. So that tested fine. I pulled this chip and it tested bad. Let's look at that real quick here. Sorry about that. Panning too fast. Alright. We're going to test that memory chip 2101 in my Neolock right there. Man, it tests bad. Hopefully I didn't shock anything. Alright, so I know I have at least one bad chip, so let me hook everything back up and see what we get. I'm not going to pull this out yet. I'm going to run it on the Fluke just to make sure, so be right back. Alright, I have everything hooked back up, I think. Turn it on. We'll go over here, run our RAM. Well, let's do our bus test. Bus test. RAM short 2000, enter 3FF, F, enter. Alright, now, should we get BA and C5? Obviously, we're getting C5 still. Let's hit continue. What? Why are we getting BA and C5? Alright, I wasn't expecting that. Let me look at my looping on just 2000 right there, and now I'm getting between, it's E and F, E and F, E and F, which is kind of interesting. And if I look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's my output right there, which looks much better now on that chip. Whoa, what's going on there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Huh. I don't know. I'm going to keep investigating. I might pull this chip out and just test this one as well. I'm not sure. Let me think. Alright, I don't know why this is so hard, but I put two new 2101s in there, or the equivalent, and they started getting real hot, and I could tell something was jacked up, so I removed them. Can you see this okay? Let's see. There, that's better, I guess. What's interesting is 1, 2, 3, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Pin 16 and 18 are tied together. And it's supposed to be that way. I don't know why it is that way. Because pin 16, it says not connected for a 2101. And pin 18 is 12 volts. And I cooked two pieces of memory. Which kind of really sucks. And I don't know why these two are tied together, but they're not tied together anywhere else. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 is not tied to there. And 16 is not even tied to anything. I mean, it's just not, on the other chips, it's not tied anywhere. I don't know why it is tied somewhere here. Then I grabbed one of these. This was kind of broken, and I was checking capacitors and I was looking for shorts. I can't find a short, but I did try to test this. Let's see. And it's open. It's not shorted, but I mean, I'm not getting anything on this thing, which is just weird. I should get something just like on these. I think I tested these from the bottom, and it's a little bit more difficult, but anyway, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and put it back together and put new RAM chips in there, because I can't figure it out. I mean, it shouldn't matter that there's getting 12 volts to pin 16, because I looked at another board and it's wired up the same way. So I don't know, it doesn't make sense. But somehow I screwed something up, and I've double checked my work, and I don't want to burn up more RAM chips, but I got no other choice because I can't figure it out. So all right, I'll be right back. I'm running unit under test here, and I get lines on the screen with still some dotted lines, which is kind of weird. So yeah, what is going on? Alright, it's the next day. I had to take a break. Actually, I started looking at a different board, but I had to take a break because this thing was frustrating the crap out of me. I put in another RAM into this slot here, ran some tests, and took it out, and it tested bad in the Neolock. So it's consistently, if I put RAM in here, something bad's happening to it, and I don't know exactly why. So, one of the things I want to do is what I was doing is I was just testing. Can you see? No, you can't really see this. Coming like this. How's that? I was just testing from pin to pin to see if I shorted anything. This is the 12 volt line, pin 18 and 16 being tied together, but not being tied together anywhere else if I come on the same spot. So the other thing I did is I just would come, hopefully you can see this okay, is like just come to and test them to the other chips just to make sure I have continuity like this. Hard to do it on camera so you guys can see. And then I came to this one, which is address line 6, and I do not have continuity. Something's going on with address line 6 with my socket there. But everything else is fine, except for pin 16 obviously isn't connected to anything. And then just the data inputs and outputs aren't connected. So if I come here, and this is one of the data lines. Yeah, that's data in and data out are the only two that aren't connected. So the rest of them are connected. So that's one issue that I found with the address line 6 that I need to come back and fix. But I don't get it. I'm going to desolder one of these other RAM chips and test them. I'm wondering if all of this RAM is bad. So I'm going to desolder a couple of these RAM chips just so I can test them. Because if every time I put in a new RAM here, I end up ruining them, something's going on, and it's not obvious to me. It's not like 12 volts is on the wrong line, or minus 5 volts is on the wrong line. And nothing seems to be shorted. If I go to ground, see, ground is right here. And if I go to one, that's 22, 21. Oh, you can't really see that. This way. Let's do it this way. Here we go. Alright, that's ground. You can see that. 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. Nope, see, it's not shorted. To 16. Ground to negative 5 volts. Ground to plus 5. Is not shorted. Is anything else shorted? To ground. What is that? Pin 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the chip enable, chip select, so that might be just grounded all the time anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's check. Would this be? This is pin 1. See if anything is shorted to pin 1. No. Anything shorted to pin 5 volts. No. Is anything shorted to 12 volts? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Besides line 16. No. So nothing shorted to ground that shouldn't be. Nothing shorted to 12 volts that shouldn't be. Nothing shorted to 5 volts that shouldn't be. Nothing shorted to negative 5 volts. So, beats the hell out of me. I'm lost. I am totally lost. But I'm gonna desocket these and test them and see if they test bad. And if they test bad, then I got bigger issues, I guess. Alright, well, this is why it's Jack Lick's Arcade Journey. I just did something really dumb. I was replacing that RAM with 2101 RAM or 5101 RAM, and I had just made an assumption based off of the size of the dip. I didn't look up what 2107 is. This is compatible with TMS 4060, which I had one of those, but I tested it as 2101, so I might have ruined it as well. But anyway, this is the one I just pulled. Dumb mistake. Dumb. And let's, hopefully you can see that. I know there's a glare there. We're going to test it. This is the one I just pulled off of the board. It was in memory location, like one of the first memory locations. And this one is good. And I'm using the Neolock 9060 tester. 9060 DRAM. Not the 5101. Now, I went into the garbage because I had already thrown this one away. This is one of the ones I pulled. And now I don't know if I ruined, maybe it was bad to begin with, or maybe I ruined it by testing it with a 2101, applying the wrong voltage to the, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm going to do some more testing and see if I can figure it out. But I need to go order some RAM, basically. Alright, so I had to go dumpster diving. I had to pull the RAM that I pulled out initially out of the garbage, and they both did test bad. Now this one had a couple legs that were not 100% right, but I believe they are making contact. I'll double check it, but I'm pretty sure I had to put it in this little thing here to get it to test. This is a TMS 4060 that I had, and I tested it in the 2101 thinking this was actually an equivalent of 2101, but it's not. And then I put it in my 9060 tester and it tests fine. So I know that the 2101 is unlikely to have damaged these chips. These were most likely damaged, and we were on to the right thing, but I just replaced it with the wrong damn memory. So let me order some RAM, and then I guess I'll come back and go from there. Okay, so while I'm waiting for some memory, I figured I would hook this back up to the Fluke and try to understand the results that my RAM test was giving me. I don't mess with the Fluke enough to really memorize this, but every time I go through it, I learn a little bit more, which is going to help, I think. So when we were running it before, and I'm going to do it again, even with the bad memory in there that I suspected was bad, we were constantly getting a read-write error at different address lines, like 2000, 2001, 2002. Every single address we were getting a BTS error, read-write BTS error. BTS is like the bit mask or something that Fluke gives you, and it would say C5, and then it would give you all this 11000101 blah blah blah, and then it would say BA 10, which translates to 10111010 in binary. So this is hex and this is the binary. And I went back and looked at the Fluke manual, and I remember reading this. Excuse me. I remember reading this before, but I forgot it. So in this mask, anywhere we saw a 1 is basically a data bit that could not be read or written to. So everywhere we see a 0 is actually okay, and everywhere we see a 1 is likely not okay. And I am going to show that here by just doing a RAM test. RAM with the memory out. Where's my RAM? RAM short 2000 to 3FFF. Enter. Okay, and what happened? Oh. What did I do wrong? Alright, let's go bust it. No. Alright, RAM short 2000, enter, F, enter. There we go. I must have typed something in wrong. So, read write 2000 BTS C5 loop. No, we don't want to loop it. We're going to continue. Then it goes to 2001 and it says BA loop. No. Then it goes to 2002, which is the next address, C5, and so on and so forth. And you can see that there's a pattern here where everything that's BA is an odd address, and everything that's C5 is an even address. So I found that pretty interesting, that pattern there.
And I haven't messed with Space Invaders boards in this detail before. So what I'm going to do is power off. I'm going to put my 4060 into G, what is that, 15? G15. We're going to power up. We'll stop. Can I repeat? No. RAM short. 2000, enter. 3FFF, enter. Now at 2000, I get a 45. And the 45, you can see, is 0 in binary, 0100 0101. It's the same as my C5 here. And it's an even address, number 2000, right? And so you can see that basically that RAM is good because this is the 7th data bit. So we count from here. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? Am I counting right? Anyway, it's 8 data bits. I don't know how I'm counting. Yeah, 0 through 7, which is 8. Duh. All right. This is what happens when you try to explain this live. And you can see that we cleared basically that bit from not being read-writable. It was up here, not read-writable. Now that I have a good memory chip in there, it is read-writable. And if I go continue, I still get my BA mask, hex mask, on all the odd addresses. So 45 on all the even, and that's all the odd. Now my memory card I think is low or something. I'll have to come back. Okay, I swapped out my memory card, but I also swapped our memory chip from G to H15. And we basically get BTS error 2000 C5, and we were getting 45, right? So our error moved again back up to here where we're getting 11000101. If I hit continue, now I'm getting 3A, and 3A again clears the 1 that we were getting before. Instead of BA, we have 3A, which clears that 1, and we have 00111010. So on and so forth. And then I basically determined that what rows, by doing this and just swapping it back and forth, I was able to determine which address lines are served by the row G and which addresses are served by row H. So it's the even, like I mentioned, even addresses are G and odd addresses are H. And then so if I write down that this is even, so our even is row G. I'm just going to put it right there. Our even is row G. So right here, based off of our very first errors and our bit mask and our very first errors, we have this chip should be bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good. See, 1, right here, I'm falling right there, the top one. 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. So I'm going to mark all those bad. That's bad, that's bad. Oh, dude, yeah. 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So those are bad. And then if I go to my, sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the camera. If I go to my odd address row, which is row H, I happen to pull the one chip that was working. That 0 there, this one is good. That's a good chip. And this one is bad. This one's good. This one's bad. And then we have bad, bad. Am I right? Yeah. So we have 0's good, 1 is bad. 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. So that's a lot of bad RAM chips. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bad DRAM chips. 9 out of 16, which really sucks. But anyway, I just wanted to share that. I was able to kind of figure out a little bit better, and Space Invaders makes it easy because each DRAM only has one data line that it serves, and the 2 rows are serving serving the address ranges. You know, one serving odd address ranges, one serving even. And so they basically, or I don't know if it's odd and even as much as just alternating back and forth. This is 2000, or this would be maybe over here 2000. Well, all of them are, you know, all the address 2000 is across all 8. So it's let's see, G is even, right? Yeah, G. So it's 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, and so on and so forth. So that was pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and pull all these chips, since I'm waiting on RAM to come, or DRAM to come. I will desolder those chips and try to pull them out cleanly so I can test them in my Neolock and verify. I'll do it one at a time and then come back and then put in sockets and then test the sockets, you know, make sure all the lines have good continuity and stuff like that to the other chip in the same row. So I'm ready to put in the new replacement RAM when it comes in. Alright, that's it for tonight. That's all I'm going to film for tonight in this wait. Alright, everybody, back at this after getting some DRAM in, and I was just going to show you testing these 9060. Okay, tested 9, just as we expected. I tested 9 bad RAM chips, or was it 10? I'm not sure. Whatever. Is it? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 9. And then I started testing. I only ordered 10. I mean, and I tested these, and I know these are good. And I'm going to test a few more that I got from arcadechips.com, and hopefully they're all good, and we'll put them in the board. Okay, I figured before I put them all in, I would show how many I socketed. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bad. Now this one I socketed, but it was good because I was just experimenting. But let me put the RAM in, and then I'll be right back. All right, I'm ready to power it up. I haven't done it yet. Doing it with you guys. My Fluke is ready, and I don't have any ROMs in. Obviously, this had to have been an original Space Invaders board. Yeah, it said that right there, because I'm just looking at these RAM, but whatever. All right, let's power it up. All right, we'll get that on the screen. Let's go run unit under test. And those are our lines, and I don't see any blinking at all. Let's go ahead and do our RAM short. 2000, enter, 3FFF, enter. And it's running, it's looking good. I'll pause and be back when it's done. Actually, you can see it writing to the screen as I'm reading and writing to that memory address. Sorry for all the moving around, but it's the only way I can film all this stuff. Alright, so our RAM test is good, the RAM short's good, and I guess what I can do is probably, I'm going to put the Brazington kit in just to see if there's any other errors, but I think that with the Fluke I've done everything I can. We did read the ROMs. I guess I could put the ROMs in. This has to be Space Invaders. I don't know. Let me think what I want to do. Alright, I'm just going to put the Brazington kit in. I think this is strapped. I have to look at how it's strapped. I think it's probably strapped for these 9316s. Are these 9316s? Yes, 9316. So Brazington kit's in. Let's see. See what we get. Hopefully something. Oh, everything looks good. That's good news. Now, I know we still have sound issues, but this one is fully working now. It was just RAM, I guess. Maybe that 7404 was bad. I have no idea. Let's see. Can I start a game? Yeah. Yeah, just sound issues. Cool. Alright, let me come back. Let's see, I'm going to wrap up this video, so let me come back and see what I want. Alright, I'm going to wrap up this video. One thing is, I believe these are strapped for 9316s, because if you come to pin 24, 23, 22, 21, that should be negative 5 volts. If it was a TI, Texas Instrument, or TMS 2716, those are tri-voltage. So I'm pretty sure those are 9316s, but I'll save that for another video. The other thing is, I think I was talking about the different boards at the beginning of this video, and this one is actually an A082 that shows the deluxe cocktail. And that's interesting. I'm wondering, it is missing the 2 chips that you can run Space Invaders 2 on, but I'm wondering if this is possible to run Space Invaders 2 with this soundboard. That's pretty interesting. It also has this custom chip, this MB14241. I just wrote on there because it's hard to see. And later revisions like this one, they actually replaced it with a whole bunch of 151s, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think so. 8 LS151s to replace that chip. So that's why you see this board is different. And you can't really see it, but can you see it? I don't know. What the hell is this? This is a A084 version C, and this is a A082 version A. The first number is different, which is kind of interesting. 1978 Space Invaders, but then it says deluxe. So, all right, that's it. This is coming out after I fixed the other board, but whatever. I'm going to release them out of sequence, but publish this video. I learned how to use the Fluke a little bit better, obviously. The more I use it, obviously, it'll get easier for me. So that's it. Space Invaders working. I'll do some more videos on soundboards and strapping and all that crap. All right, cheers.